Hi, welcome to our lesson on box and whiskers plots. So we are going to talk about making box and whiskers plots, sometimes called box and whiskers graphs, but they are ways to notice the tendency that data skews or is more tilted one way or another. So maybe it's skewed high, which means a lot more of the data is real high, or it's spread out evenly, or maybe it's skewed low and most of the data is down low. So this is a good way to do that. So let's start with box and whiskers. But before we start it, we need to make sure everybody knows what a median is. So we're looking for the definition of median. And the definition of median is it's the middle number when you put the numbers in order. And it's really important that you put the numbers in order. Go ahead and pause the video to write that definition down. Okay, another thing is if there are two middle numbers, then we use the mean of the middle numbers. That means that we find the halfway point between the two middle numbers. Another way is to add the two of the middle numbers together and then divide by 2. Either way, we're finding the mean of the middle numbers. Go ahead and pause the video to make sure you have that written down. Okay, it looks like we're ready to go on, and so we need some data. So let's write down this data, and if I go too fast for you, feel free to pause the video so you can catch up. So first number is 4, and then 37, then 49, 45, 24, 32, 18, 39, 12, 42, 47, 38, and 25. Now, if you remember, we need to put these numbers in order, so go ahead and pause the video to put the numbers in order. When you're ready, go ahead and hit play again. Okay, hopefully you have the numbers in order. Let's double check, and if you need to make any corrections, feel free to pause the video so you can make those corrections. First number should be 4, then 12, 18, 24, 25, 32, 37, 38, 39, 42, 45, 47, and 49. If you need to pause it, now's the time to pause it to make sure you have all those down in the correct order. Now you'll notice there are 13 numbers, so the 7th number is the middle number. Which number is the 7th number? 37 is the 7th number. And whatever way you need to find the middle number, you do need to find it, and go ahead and circle that middle number. And if you remember, that middle number is called the median. Now, we're going to look at the lower half, and we want to find the median of the lower half. In other words, what's the middle number of the lower half? And that number is 24. So let's circle that. And now you can probably guess we're going to find the median of the upper half. Can you find the median of the upper half? So just find the middle number of the upper half of the numbers. Well, that's 42, so we circle that. Now we're going to write down our 6 important numbers, or 6 important values. The first 5 are what we need to make the graph, and then the 6th one is just informational for helping us interpret the graph. So the first number we need is the lowest number. What is the lowest number in our data? Go ahead and circle the number 4 because that's our lowest number. And then we need the highest number, and the highest number is 49. Go ahead and circle that. And then we need our median. Remember, our median was the middle number of the whole data set, and we have that circled in green. So our median is 37. And then we need what's called the lower quartile. And the lower quartile is the median of the lower half. And we already figured that one out as 24. That's the one in red. And then you can probably figure out that we need the upper quartile. And that's the median of the upper half, which was 42. And it's the number in orange. And the last thing we need is called the inner quartile range. The inner quartile range. And the inner quartile range is just the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. And so if we take 42 minus 24, we get 18. And do please write down the 42 minus 24. That's really important. And go ahead and pause if you need to get any of this down. And we'll go on to graphing it. So we definitely need those 6 important values. We're going to go ahead and graph it. Okay, we're ready to go. If you need to pause, now's the time. Let's go. So, by the way, we're going to call lower quartile LQ, upper quartile UQ, and inner quartile range IQR. So that way we don't have to write those words down so much. Here's our 6 important values. You already have them written down. 4, 49, 37, 24, and 42. We're going to need those numbers. The inner quartile range of 18 is important, but we're not going to use it for our graph. First thing we do is make a number line. So we just draw a line. We look at our lowest number, which is 4, our highest number, which is 49, and we pick a number that's lower than 4 for our lowest number, a good number, like 0 in this case, and then a number that's higher than 49, which is like 50 in this case. And so we're going to put the numbers from 0 to 50. Of course, we don't write all the numbers. We just write a couple of the key numbers and tick marks at some of the key points. Nicely, evenly spaced. And then we put the numbers that we see on our graph by using dots for the first column. So the low is going to get a dot. The high gets a dot. The median gets a dot. And then the lower quartile gets a line segment. And the upper quartile gets a line segment. Now, if you remember, I said inner quartile range does not get put on the graph. So we're actually almost done. We just need to fix our box and whiskers. And so we're going to make a box out of the 2 lines by connecting the 2 line segments and make a box. And then we're going to add a whisker on the left from the low to the box. And then we're going to add a whisker on the right to go from the box to the high. Excellent. Any questions? Well, you can rewind it and play some of the video again. Make sure you pause it if you don't have all this down. But let's go on to the next example. Here we go. Here's our data. Oh, this is skewed heavily to the right. I forgot to mention that. If you look at it, it's kind of all the data's on the right, and we say it's skewed heavily to the right because if you look, half the data is just squoze in that little section on the right, and then half of it's spread out all the way on that big section on the left, because that dot in the middle represents the median, which is the middle point for the data. So half is on the right of that, half is on the left of it. And see how it's skewed heavily to the right? It's all squished heavily on the right. Here's our new data. 20, 25, 78, 95, 63, 54, 32, 22, 18, 27, 55, 73, 21, 17, and 26. Go ahead and put those in order. Pause the video while you're doing that, and then unpause it when you're ready. Okay, let's go. You should have the numbers 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 25, 26, 27, 32, 54, 55, 63, 73, 78, and 95. Go ahead and pause it and fix it if you need to. And now we need to find all our numbers. So our low is 17. Our high is 95. Our median, in this case, is 27. And our lower quartile, if you notice that if I include the 27, we end up with an even number in our lower quartile. So this time we're not going to include the 27. And so we're just going to take the numbers 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 25, and 26, because that gives us a nice, easy to find lower quartile. So that's 21. So again, we're not including 27 because that would give us an even number of numbers for the lower quartile. Same thing for the upper quartile. We're not going to include 27 because that would give us an even number. So we want an odd number in the upper quartile. We want an odd number for the lower quartile. So 63 is our upper quartile, and our inner quartile range is 42. That was 63 minus 21, which is 42. So now we just need to graph it. We put all our stuff on there. We're going to go from 0 to 100 in this case. Low gets a dot, high gets a dot, median gets a dot, lower quartile gets a line segment, upper quartile gets a line segment. Then we just make our box and make our whiskers. And then we notice this one is skewed to the left, or skewed low. Okay, go ahead and pause it if you need to. Otherwise, we're going to continue to our third example. Here's our third example, and this time I've put the numbers in order for you already. And all the numbers are in order, and we're going to just write them down, pause them if you need to, so you can write all those numbers down. And then we're just going to find all the stuff we need. So notice there's two middle numbers. So that's going to be key in finding the median. So first we find the low, which is 8, the high, which is 148, and then the median is going to be halfway between those two middle numbers. So our median, in this case, is 67. And then we find our lower quartile, which is 20, and then our upper quartile, which is 135. Our inner quartile range is 115. Put the numbers down. Notice I'm not putting all the numbers down. Dot for the low, dot for the high, dot for the median, line segment for lower quartile, line segment for upper quartile, and our inner quartile range is not used. Finish our box, put the whisker on the left, whisker on the right, and then notice this has a wide distribution. So notice how big that box is. It takes up almost all of the data.